I want to welcome you to today's session at G Learning Center. We're doing something new for the judiciary. So people are used to physical training. So we want to now at this point introduce also the concept of virtual training. What are we looking at? We're looking at essentially a system where you have your gamut of staff spread across the different courts. You have customary courts of appeal, you have the Supreme Court, you have the Court of Appeal, and several other courts. They've been having that challenge of how to be able to do their training and their courses. So we at G-Learning thought to do something very unique for you, and we decided to convert all your trainings to a virtual platform. So you can visit us at www.glearningcenter.com. There you will find our different modules, and as staff you could just go there and take a course and get a certificate. So that's what we are offering you at G Learning Center. So we've looked at the various departments of most of the courses that we have in Africa and indeed in the world. So you have departments like the litigation department, you have departments like the inspectorate department. Okay, what about the oaths and affidavit department? You have the probate, the finance and supply, and of course every court has a library and a training unit, and of course you have the administration, enforcement and internal control. So we are doing a customized training for these different departments, and of course you have a situation where you have joint training, trainings like team building, trainings like communications. These are training that course across the different departments. So what we intend to do now is to take you through the different areas, but before we get to them, let me take you to our training formats. Okay, so every training will start with a way of introduction. We look at the purpose of the training. They said if a purpose is not known, abuse become inevitable. So we look at the purpose and we look at the target audience, and of course the training objective for that particular training that we're offering. Then what is the training structure? Okay, most of our training takes about a week. Okay, we can however do some customized training for you. If you want your training to be 3 days or 2 days or to be 2 weeks, they are all available. Okay, what are the training methodology? For this particular offering is going to be an online setting. An online setting in the sense that at the end of the day, you visit our website, okay, log on, you will receive some particular details for you to be able to log on. Then you go on a particular course that you want to do, and at the end of the training session, you will be issued with a certificate. So what we recommend for most courts in Africa is that you probably just take maybe 3 or 5 days leave, do your training and answer basic questions, and by the time you pass the training, a certificate will be issued to you, which you can now bring back to your office to take your necessary ESTA code or necessary allowances that is prepared for that purpose. Okay, so like I said, we're using the online training platform. Then at the end of every training, we expect evaluation and assessment to be done. Okay, so right now we're going to be looking at each of the departments and their specific training that is allocated to them. And of course, if you do have a situation where you have other trainings that you want us to do, we can always customize training for every particular organization. So let's take the first department, which is normally the litigation departments. What are those training topics that we have prepared? We have legal research and analysis. Okay, we have case management, and of course we have evidence presentation, courtroom procedure, case law analysis and reasoning, then judicial ethics and conduct. We do courses on decision writing and legal drafting, then alternative dispute resolution, which is a key area of focus these days. If you look at the Lagos judicial system, they've been able to perfect their alternative dispute resolution mechanism, and we want to take that gospel to other courts in Nigeria and even at the state level. Then of course we'll have courses on knowledge of customary law, and local traditions. So these are some of the course content that we have built for the litigation department. So let's look at another very important department, talking about the inspectorate department. And under the inspectorate department, what are the topics that we have prepared? We have investigative techniques, we have compliance inspections, and of course reporting and documentation. So, like I mentioned, we have detailed curriculum that we have prepared for all this training. So it's just for you to go to our platform and choose which of these courses that you need to take and undergo your course, answer necessary questions. By the time you pass, your certificate will be issued to you at the end of the day. So let's look at another department again, the oaths and affidavit department or units, depending on what you call it in your court. Then what are the training topics available? We have administrative oaths and affidavit. You want to get a better and a deeper understanding of how oaths administration and affidavit is being carried out. Then notarization procedure, then of course document verification. So we took our time to do training around this area, and at the end of the day, you can take any of these courses. Then let's move on to the probate departments. Okay, the probate department talk about the probate procedure. So we try to customize these courses. Then of course we will run also generic courses that you can, cut across different courts in Nigeria. Then estate valuation. Then you have inheritance law. So we have developed under the probate department all these different training areas. Then let's move on to the finance and supply department. Under the finance and supply department, we have training on financial management, how to manage your finance. You have, of course, budgeting. Budgeting is critical in the sense that, look, we're lucky that the judiciary have been able to get their independence now. But again, every unit, every department needs to, at the end of every year, submit a budget which will be approved for implementation for the year. So we have a robust Excel system, software system that can enable you plug in a figure, and by the end of the day, you can roll out your budget seamlessly. So we train you on budgeting and financial planning for the court, then accounting principle and financial reporting, then of course procurement procedures. There are standard procurement procedures that you need to follow so that you don't get caught up at the end of the day. Then what about fraud prevention and detection? Okay, one of the things that happens to most organizations is that they begin to lose money without knowing. So we train the people in the finance and supply department on how they can undergo fraud prevention and detection, then of course compliance with regulatory requirements. We have training on that. So let's now discuss something on the library departments, and the topics available for them is cataloging and information retrieval techniques. So we have that. Then legal research methodology, that's another training area. Then of course information management, which is very, very important. We're in the era now of information overload. Okay, and you need to actually be able to manage information to get it across to the right people for you to be able to, make appropriate use of those information for you to be able to maximize your productivity in your organization. Then you talk about digital library management, access to legal database and resources, and of course reference services and support. So these are some of the trainings that are available in the library department. So we move on now to the admin. So what we did is to make something available for everybody. We're looking at a holistic situation where courts is able to train more staff, more of their staff cuts across different departments. We've had a situation where some staff complain that it's only a particular department that is going for training. So we're making it available. So whatever your budget is, it's easier for you to train your entire staff in a year using our platform, www.glearningcenter.com. So you can always you can visit us and be able to get those information. So let's look at administration department now, which is a very large department which the entire court sits upon. Okay, case docketing. Today you are asking for information as regard the activity of the court, it becomes something that is a bit difficult. So we have courses on case docketing, record management and documentation, then effective communication, which is very important. And one of the things that can never be overloaded in any organization is communication. So effective communication, then talk about time management. After undergoing course on time management, you will be able to avoid African time. Then project management, administrative policies and procedure, leadership and supervision. Then customer service and public relations. So every organization has they have customers, and they must be able to satisfy those customers. There are internal customers and there are also external customers. So all of them are important. So we know how to serve them better by doing a course on customer service and public relations. So in winding down, two other departments that are of interest to us is the enforcement department. Under the enforcement department, you have training courses like court order enforcement. Okay, you have conflict resolution, which is a big subject matter across the world. Then of course interaction with law enforcement agents. So we have courses on that. Then what about internal audit department? These are departments that ensure compliance, that ensure that things are done appropriately, the way they ought to be done and how they ought to be done. So we have internal audit procedure and best practices. Then you have risk assessment and control evaluation. Then what about courses on audit reports, preparation and recommendation, compliance auditing, fraud detection and prevention techniques. So I want to now look at what I call cross-departmental training. Okay, so we've talked about legal, litigation department, we've talked about admin department, we've talked about finance and supply. Okay, what about oath and affidavit? Okay, but there's something that brings them together. So under that, in this kind of situation, now you will find different departments finding themselves in the same class to undergo courses like ethic and professional conducts. Okay, so what are the ethics of the courts and how should the people in the court behave? So that talks about ethics and professional conduct. Then communication skills and team building, ability to work together. These are cross departmental training. Then of course you have conflict resolution and mediation. Then of course you have legal updates and changes in customary law, depending on the court that you are dealing with. Now you have, like I mentioned, you have the appeal court, you have the Supreme Court, and some other courts that will be using this module at the end of the day. Then what about courses like stress management and self-care? So I must not leave this platform without talking about pre-retirement training. Okay, no matter how much you stay in an organization, have it at the back of your mind that you must retire. So, and there is a need for every organization to have a holistic plan towards retirement. So we've been able to develop a robust pre-retirement plan for all your staff, and you can go ahead to take that course. And it's often said that, look, 5 years to retirement, that's when you start preparing your staff for retirement so that they don't get caught up. We have had situations where people die, okay, 2 years, 1 year after retirement because there was no plan. And suddenly they just realize that they are now out of the organization. So in rounding up, the training topics are designed to meet the specific needs of different employee groups, okay, including the frontline staff, the administration staff, accounts, audit, litigation, IT professional, managers and executives. So this for quite a number of time has not been done. So we at G Learning Center took our time out to see how can we convert some of this training so that there can be ease of deployment. Okay, so we are looking at a situation today where it is possible for you to train 100% of your staff at half of your annual budget training, and that's our target. So you can reach out to us and contact us, and we'll be able to issue you your certificate immediately your training is done. Thank you and have a blessed day.